Hi, and welcome to East Meets West. Two women, two cultures looking at female life. And today's subject is family expectations. Are they pulling you in a direction that doesn't feel congruent to who you would like to be? Right, so I'm going to bring you straight back to your medicine and ask you about that, because I know that that's been a challenge for you, and I know that that challenge is something that a lot of women, whether they come from wherever they come from in the world, has this challenge because it has to do with expectations.
Sure, yeah. Family expectations. My dad is a doctor, and in our part of the world, when your dad is a doctor, you're more likely to become one. So, when I finished high school, I had no idea what my gifts were, or what I was talented in, or what else other than medicine to study, because my dad was pushing me hard to go for it, and I had no choice actually to, study something else. So I went on and I went ahead and studied medicine, and because I didn't know whether there was another option for me to, like, I did not even go through my options. I did not have anyone to talk to, like maybe a high school counselor or someone who can just lead you and tell you where you can, go further, which career you should follow, or what jobs would be more appealing to you when you grow up. That that was something that I did not have. So I went and studied medicine, did the whole 7 years, graduated.
So you're
Then
actually a
after you
doctor.
finish, right?
So you're actually a doctor. You're
I am,
Dr.
yeah.
Nesreen.
Well, I really don't like the title something, except that I don't feel like I'm a doctor. You just have to feel it. You have to have this. I'm really good with working with people and everything, but it's not the medical part that I like, because it's not in me. It's not something that I wanted to do. It's just simply following my dad's dream, or my mom, my family dream of having a daughter who's following in their footsteps.
So it's kind of because it's obviously you were following those footsteps, but they weren't the footsteps that you wanted to be following in. So 7 years of study doing something that wasn't your passion, or was it your passion, or you didn't realize it was your passion then? How did that actually work out? Did you know it wasn't your passion?
I knew, because it was not my choice. So okay, when you're doing something because your dad is pushing you, your mom is pushing you, you know that it's not going to be your passion. I mean, it's not something that you have dreamed about or anything. But lack of direction also has contributed to me feeling that it's not something that I like. Uh, and but in my first year, I realized that it was the studying as well. I'm not the studious type. I don't want to sit for long hours and study. And being in med school, you have to sit for long hours and do the studying, and it's like it's a must. So, and I don't want to say that it ruins your personal life as well, but studying medicine does.
Yeah, well,
you just study all the
I can
time.
go with that, because obviously being a trained nurse, we don't have so much study. It's only 3 years, and then obviously you go on afterwards and do the rest. But yeah, medicine certainly does have a major effect on your personal life.
Yeah.
But 7 years of study, 7 years of studying something that you don't like. And then your story is very unique, because what would normally happen, because you're not unique in the sense that you're actually following in family footsteps because of family pressures and because of family expectations. You're unique in the fact that you actually rebelled against that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Just recently, I did. Yeah. you know, when I first went and signed up for the postgraduate studies, and I knew that it was going to be another 4 or 5 years of studying, and something. Okay, I said to myself, if I could just find a specialty that would appeal to me, then maybe that would make things easier. But unfortunately, it didn't make anything easier for me. And my choice also was not was totally based on someone else's opinion. I had a senior doctor who I was training with, and I really looked up to that man, and he was kind of an inspiration to me. And I wanted to, when I asked him, okay, do I opt for something that's easy, like a specialty like dermatology or anything that's easy? There are certain specialties in in medicine that doesn't require a lot of work. First thing he said was, no, you just do internal medicine, do something to do with the GIT, which is his specialty, okay? So when I made that choice, it was based on someone else's choice for me. I mean, it was not me actually wanting this, but I should have sat with myself, actually thought about this. Am I going to, do something for 4 or 5 years? Is not like it's not actually my choice. So
Hmm.
I made the mistake of allowing someone else to choose for me, which was a big mistake actually.
But was that because you weren't in the habit of choosing for yourself, or because with hindsight is always well, hindsight is a brilliant thing, but we don't have hindsight at the time. So
Right.
your choosing was more so out of conditioning and habit, was it not? Because you were accustomed to listening to other people rather than listening to yourself.
Right. And I always I was the type of person who would always play it safe. Not just, I don't really like to risk things, and thinking that a choice would be dependent on me, it was something was a bit scary for me to take in. I wanted someone else to take the responsibility of making that choice for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so you're right, it's conditioning. It's like this is how, if you tell your child, like I see it with my daughter, if I tell her, okay, you take the responsibility of doing so and so, and like she thinks, okay, I can do this. But if you're conditioned from a very young age to not make choices and to have your parents choose for you, then I think you grow up with this kind of dependency. They you don't you don't feel it unless you're in a situation. You don't do it consciously. It's an unconscious choice that you make.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So having gone through all that, where are you now? What was the
Oh.
change for you? I think that's the thing. What was the thing? What was the thing that made you kind of look up and go, actually, no, this is my life and I want to live it the way I want to? Because that's really quite a big thing. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, for women still today, it's a major thing for women to go, actually, that's not what I want to do. Women still have difficulty saying, no, this is what I want to do. So what was it that actually made you kind of turn everything around and change that?
It was the fact that I felt like I was in the middle of nowhere. I was not actually following a career in medicine, and then I felt like it's been 10 years and nothing's happened. I kept on procrastinating and not, finishing my work. And when you procrastinate, you have to ask yourself why you don't want to do what you're doing, what you have to do. It's like, are you putting it off because it's not your interest, it's not something that interests you, or are you putting it off because it's hard to do, or you're putting it off because, I mean, I don't think there's a third choice. It's either it's not something of interest, because if you're interested in something and it's hard, then you're going to do whatever it takes to finish it, or to actually get there in the end. But if it's not something, if it's something that you're doing because you have to do, or because it's normal that you do it, then it becomes last on your list.
Hmm.
It doesn't find its way up to your priorities, like not a top. It doesn't become a top priority. So
Yeah.
um, so this is
But
when I
what
started
what
to think
what
about.
actually
Sorry.
made you look at that? What made you consciously look at, why am I not doing this? What's going on? What was going on in your life? What were you actually feeling about yourself? Because we do lots and lots of things
Okay.
subconsciously.
To tell you the truth, I was looking at my husband. He's a doctor too, so he was just very. He was so into his work. He would study for hours without stopping, and it was kind of disappointing for me to find myself, I'm not doing the same thing, and we're supposed to be, following the same career, and it's it's not like that for me. This really stopped me for some time, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not, he's got the brains, he's got the talent and everything, but you know, and I think I do too, but why is it that I don't want to do it? Why? It's just a few hours work every day and persistence, and for me it was just not feeling that I want to do it. And then when I took the soul alignment course, if you remember well, in August, and we had to go through an 8-week course with you, Claire, if you remember, struck me that hard, that was not my soul need. It wasn't one of my soul needs. My soul need was find what I really, they say find your gift. What is your gift? How do you know that you're gifted in one area? It's something that you do the absolutely best and without putting in much effort. So it's something that comes to you like that. This is the gift. So if your career is your gift, then good and well. If it's not your gift, then you're going to suffer for the rest of your life. You'll just be doing it for the money, okay? Just for the money or whatever you're doing it for. But if your career is your gift, then imagine how enjoyable life will be. And this is what I'm really trying to do at the moment, is to find my gift. And if I can find my gift and this can be my career, then I'm going to have a very happy and fulfilling life.
Excellent. Yeah. Brilliant. I think you've made a very, very poignant point there, which is very much what a lot of coaches are always saying. I know I'm always saying it, and you actually brought it up there. It's finding that gift. When we say that's when life becomes abundant, we're not talking about financial gain. We're talking about life actually becoming abundant. You come alive when you're actually doing something. And let's be honest, our working life is much longer than any of our other lives. Our childhood lasts till we're 16, 17, 18, if we're lucky. Our pension age starts, well, for us, it's going to be 70 plus. And then the average lifespan is it 84, 85 now? And then you've got this huge amount of years in the middle where it's our working life. And if we're doing something that doesn't feed us internally, doesn't resonate with who we are and what we like, then we've got all these years of doing something just for, as you said, just for money. And when coaches are talking about getting in the flow and manifesting abundant life, it's not just about money. Money is a secondary gain, because what actually happens is once you get aligned and you're in that flow, it comes so naturally that people are magnetized to you. And whatever it is you're doing, whether it doesn't matter what you're actually doing, if you're offering a service, people will actually be magnetized to that service. If you're offering product, then you will have that authenticity and that passion for those products, that people are magnetized to that. So that's what we mean when we're talking about getting in the flow and life becoming abundant, because you just come alive. You become your passion.
Right. Yeah.
So have you actually found your gift, as you call it, yet? Or are you on the path to finding your gift?
I think I'm still on the path. But I can't picture what it would be like to become to have to work with people who are in need. Like I really want to help people realize their dreams, see that there's hope after dismay, or after being let down in life. I think I don't want to say now, but I think I can be really satisfied with working as a life coach, guiding people and seeing people smile and change their lives, the real versions of themselves.
Excellent. And I think it's fair to say, if I intervene there, it's fair to say that's a lot of the reason why this channel has come about, because although we have been working together as client and coach, we've also become really good friends, and that we have discovered there's a massive need for women to communicate more openly, more freely, and more honestly about what's going on in their lives, because a lot of the time we're made to feel shame, we're made to feel embarrassed, we're made to feel that we are being dishonorable, and we lock ourselves away And then what happens is those problems, those issues, things of concern just go round and round and round and round and round in the head until you actually think you're going insane. Whereas if you can actually speak openly, if you have a space, if you have a space where you can actually just go, you know what, I've had a really crap day today. It's, and I'm saying that and I'm laughing because as a coach, I shouldn't actually say that because those days don't exist. They do exist. I'm sorry, they do exist. Let's put real life in perspective here. Those days do exist. Some days we can be extremely conscious and living in the consciousness, and we can actually make sure that we're living in the moment, and we can just let everything slide off of us and any irritations don't exist. But there's other days when we get out of bed and we actually fall back into old programs, and they're not good days. And there's other days where we don't even fall back into those programs. We just have bad days. We just have days where we're not running on 100% and we're feeling tired. And it takes speaking with another woman. It takes another woman to go, actually, it's all right. It's okay to be like that. I think in the past, the problem is with a lot of female forums, it's almost like a competition for everybody to be the best mum, to be the best juggler of their career, of their home, of their personal life. Oh, isn't it busy and I'm terribly stressed? No, we don't want that. We're all terribly stressed. We don't need competition as to how stressed we are. What we need is to actually have real conversations where we support each other, not judge each other. It's being real, it's being authentic, and it's being supportive of other women without judgment. Doesn't matter their race, their creed, their religion, their social standing, whether they're a mother, whether they're not. It's every woman standing together and actually supporting each other.
Well, that's all for today, folks. Thank you for joining us. Please leave your comments and tune in by subscribing on An Hour to Empower, East Meets West. Bye for now.